Hey, what's up, everybody? Look, let's go with the flow. This is episode 9
of season 2.
of season 2. It's an inside joke. We all don't know which episode we're on, but we're moving. We're cruising nicely. My name is Tepi.
And Church Girl is here.
And the Ghost Lady is here.
How you doing?
I'm goodies.
Great.
Everybody.
Ladies, let's have a conversation. I'm so super excited about this conversation that we're going to have today. It's a conversation that's been trending on social media.
Yes.
It's a conversation I think, it's about damn time I have with other women and not have people get upset about it that I'm sitting with. Of course, the comments, you're going to be wild.
Yes.
But I like that. So let's open up the conversation. This has been trending for a while. 2 of these girls who were having a sip and spill or sip and...
Oh, the YouTubers.
These 2 YouTube sensations, and they were sitting there and they were having this conversation, Bali too, and this girl said, "Yay, Lonama 925, Anamali," and she was basically talking about her and what she likes, in a relationship. And she says she's not going to date a broke guy. She doesn't want a broke guy. 925 is, according to her, a broke. Goes on to say a man must make 50,000 rand or 100,000 rand a day, etc. A re lona ba gola 12 hour ditšhomo tsaka basically. And that obviously got social media a buzz. And there was another girl also on TikTok. I will find her, actually. I'll find her handle on TikTok. And she's a professional gold digger.
Okay.
And she says this is how she lives her life. She has not worked in 4 years. And she has depended on men. And that's how her life is. And she says she dates to elevate.
Yeah,
so
elevate herself?
Herself.
Okay.
Herself. A man must bring something to the table, being money. Right. Before see, don't ask me what she brings to the table, because that's not the conversation I want to have today. So that's the conversation we're having today. We're talking about gold diggers. Should they even still be called gold diggers? When is it gold digging? When is it providing? Let's open up the table.
Mamela ngiqala sithethe ngaba baka sip and spill ne. Abamuncu like into phuma emlonyeni la ntombazana guys.
What does that make a muncu?
Ingathi akakwazi nothetha sana.
Okay.
She can't articulate what she's saying.
All right.
And to prove that she doesn't know what she's saying, that's why she can't articulate it.
Well, look, I think the point at which she said 100,000 rand a day, I said, "Oh, you've never seen 100,000 rand," which is why you
that's
might
the
say that. However, I'm here to play the devil's advocate as well. And I can understand why this conversation upset many people.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference in a relationship?
Financially?
Financially,
physically, otherwise?
Yes, I do.
Do you have a preference, Ghosty?
Yes, I do.
And
standards.
Okay, and standards, ne? What's your preference in standards?
My preference is obviously, yes, a man who is financially able and can afford. And standards would be like someone who's got values. There's just some things where you've got morals and you know you're going to draw the line. I like that.
Okay.
I don't
And
believe
you?
in just being random and it's okay, YOLO.
No, definitely I have standards. I don't even want to entertain him now, the devil's advocate in a part that you're talking, that you're talking about now. The reason I mentioned Obubumungu, guys, there's someone who can sit here and say, this is what I want my man to be able to provide for himself and for me when we are in a relationship. I mean, you've spoken very strongly about it, no matter how many people would disagree or agree with you, but you can back up what you're saying. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. You can back up what you're saying. Lamdana, I cannot...
Well, look, I don't make 100,000 rand a day if we're...
It doesn't matter. It can be 500 rand. It can be literally 10K at McDonald's, But the way in which you wait took you long
Go
enough.
to my TikTok page. I'm famous. Yeah.
It could literally be that, but the way in which you say what you want says something. Awuzufika uthi ngibatla 10K ya McDonald's. Awumazi McDonald's noba ujonge ngaphi.
But how do you know she doesn't know? These are her standards. But what I'm trying to say also is that she has relationship standards. Why are these relationship standards frowned upon? Because she's saying it and she's articulating it in numbers. Ghosty is saying here that she wants a man who's financially stable. Once we're taking out numbers and we say, Ghosty, how much do you feel your man should earn a month? Do you know? And then if Ghosty says, no, I think not relatively my man should be earning 150,000 rand a month, right?
I
Hold
swear.
on. And then says, I want him to earn 150,000 rand a month. Okay? She's saying it in numbers. What shocked you guys is her saying the numbers, not that she wants a man who's financially stable.
What shocked me is her saying the numbers that she doesn't even know herself.
How do you know she does not know
Where
them?
to?
Aye.
Mamela, I'm sorry, Tebine. Mhlambi, it's not hitting with you because you're not Xhosa, ne? And Xhosas would have... No.
Can't be a tribal thing.
No, it's not a tribal thing. I'm trying to emphasize when I say umuncu. Like,
to me, that means sour.
of course, that's the direct translation. But when I say imuncu landomazana, it's got nothing to do with the amount that she put up there. Really, she could not articulate what she was saying and what she wants from a man. That's where I stand. Okay. I'm sorry. I am very sorry.
So does that make her a gold digger, and not necessarily that she would prefer to be provided for in a relationship? Yo,
how dumb.
My thing for what I got from there was the problem when she labeled men who do 9 to 5 as broke.
Yeah,
so that for me was like, oh no.
Oh, it took you too long for you to get there.
Haven't you ever Googled careers, honey?
Yeah,
If you knew,
said,
you'd know which men to go for.
For me, if he makes 12,000, so I was quite curious on when she says the 12,000. I wanted to know: have you seen 12,000 before? Do you have it? Have you? No, this is just a general question. Look, I don't. After a while, at first glance, when I saw it, of course I was shocked. You know, it's for me, it took me by. I was like, Luna. But I suppose it's also in how it was captioned on Twitter. And remember, Twitter in context, alirati, right?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, actually, in hindsight, this girl is articulating what she wants in a relationship. Everyone has their preference. Everyone has their types and the people that they want and what they want in relationships. Why are you guys dictating how she should be running her relationship, or what and who she prefers to relationship with?
I'm not doubting, and I'm not.
Because if I were to tell you now how much I want my person to earn, it would be another conversation of, oh, you guys are, gold diggers, or you guys are this, you guys are that. But that's the preference that I prefer. That's the type that I prefer.
Yes, saying Gutwa, it's not what you say, but how you say it.
So how would you have preferred it was said?
No.
Firstly, in proper English.
No. Man, I think that girl, who is she? She can watch this episode. She'll know exactly what I'm saying. But then
what would you have liked her to say to articulate how she felt? And I see this also, and I say this a lot also, yo abo brother. Thank you so much, by the way, to Red Cherry Studios. They are the ones who are hosting us, and we'll be shooting here from now on. And we absolutely love these studios.
Our new home, you can see.
And of course, the security guards who open the doors. We love them too. But let's go on.
You were asking how I would have liked her to articulate what she's saying. When you speak from a place of knowing, and experience, you speak with a different kind of oomph, a different kind of, what's the word? English, baleka. But with a different kind of conviction, if I may say so. I'll be zinamba nje high in the sky, good high, I want a man like this. Personally, I don't have an issue with her having standards and how much she would like her man to earn. But as I say, it's what she said and how she said. It's how she said what she said for me.
She put a blanket statement.
Yeah,
basically.
which even for me, ebengekafiki nakula part yokuthi 9 to 5. From the first part, I knew ukuthi empty vessels here make the most noise. But okay, we are not there.
Well, look, we were once called empty vessels.
It's
remember?
all right.
And that's
Each
a
to his
maturity
own.
that we have, maybe because of understanding and having, just lived life. I think she's probably in her early 20s, and right now, I guess.
I disagree with that because that's not how they saw it. When it was trending on Twitter, the Sabawell thing, yes, there was no context, but nonetheless, this is what they said. They said, you guys are making, I don't know, I can't believe 2 women are sitting here. Well, in,
many women
are sitting here, blah, 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 blah.
dom. In fact, bebe zenza na dom. Like a majority, I've actually wanted to have this conversation for a long time, but now we're diverting.
Let's have it. No, it's a podcast. This is what we do. We divert, we come back.
Like, everybody knows what Sabawell means, right? But also, we all know when we use Usabawell. And the reason Usabawell was trending to begin with was never because the Khalela McDonald's. It was always Sabawell Base Dubai. Like, these things that don't come easily to many of us on a daily basis. So it trended because of that. But now, when Utebi spoke and said, Sabawell, stop Sabawelling things that you can't even afford for yourself, it was taken out of context. For me, it was almost as if they're not even fighting the Sabawell, but they're fighting Utebi herself.
Yeah, it was a personal attack.
I honestly, I don't know Utebi. I didn't even know much about Utebi before we interviewed her. But when I looked back, I was like, Gandhi, what's going on? For me, this thing, I know basis. I had to go back and research. No, man, this doesn't make sense. And they themselves, the funny thing is, they themselves have said Sabawell so many times, Sabawell 100,000. Because they know, I can't have it now, but if I could, Sabawell. And Dingumxhosa, come on. How can I say Sabawell Dingayaz, So, but niyatina man.
Okay.
Yay.
So that was obviously the context of the conversation that we were having at that time, right? And we come back to now this conversation of gold digging, right? And that conversation also sort of, this is in reference of the video. This is in reference of the girl I'm talking about. Actually, I'm going to find her on TikTok because it's going to bother me that I can't find her. There we go. Her name is Yogi pronounce her wrong. Start. Yo, help me, please.
I wonder. Yeah.
Just go add.
You're even spelling this.
Spelling it,
all
it's
the
long.
Alphabets in the
It's long.
It's
Look,
too
what
long.
we'll do is that I'll send it through to the guys and then we'll put it up and then you'll
Yeah, it
see.
will pop up.
But I'll obviously have to ask for her permission first. But this is the girl who speaks about it. Even her bio, she says, Gold Digging 101. She goes live every single day at 9 p.m. And she puts on a link there of sugardaddy.com, which is where you meet sugar babies, go there and meet sugar daddies. Sure, the ratio is fucked. It's 2 million sugar babies versus 5 million. 2 million sugar daddies versus 5 million sugar babies.
Okay.
Right? So there's more women than there are men there. So
Also, the rich men, it's not like we've got a lot of rich men.
So that means 5 of us can share, man.
Yeah.
Who has money. And that's on that basis. So she talks about economic status and she says that, you guys date for economic, for love reasons. Hey, stigmatized. Hey, he's bumping me right. Hey, nyamtanda. Hey, sizovuga one day. And she's talking about the economic element of it. She's saying, I date for economic purposes. If this man, there's a video of hers you can refer to there. She says, for me, if I'm going to date a guy who found me, Kisha, Papa Limangrina, he must elevate me to the next level if he wants to be with me. And I must have that because it's a choice that I want to take a mangrina on that day. And not necessarily that this is my everyday food. Okay?
Okay.
And yes, I might somewhat disagree with her on that element. But I ask myself, and I ask myself this every single day when I go on social media and people are enforcing the things that they want or the things that they think on other people. What is the problem with women coming out and saying that I do not want to date a man onganamali? I want to date a man that makes 100,000 rand a day, example, as that girl said. What is wrong with that?
There's nothing
Apart
wrong
from
with
the
that.
articulation.
Yeah,
Now I
no,
want
I
you
get
to
that.
move away from her.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it mustn't come with entitlement. Because remember, at the end of the day, even if you want a man who can give you 100K a month, does the man also want to? He mustn't have to. He mustn't be a force. I'm going to give you 100K a month. I must want to give you 100K a month.
Yeah, she's saying I won't be in that relationship if he doesn't want to give me that 100K a month.
Then move right along and don't trash men when they won't give you 100K a month. You can't say, amadoda sebenza 9 to 5, awasebenzi or awana mali.
Yeah, holding our economy, my friend.
You can't say that because you will find the very same call center guy or any 12,000 rand.
Yes, she did say that too.
He doesn't have debt. He owes no one nothing. And all his money comes to him and he decides how to spend it. While your 100K man, ubhadala uThebi, abhadala uGhosti, and the cars and the house and the donut. Not to say the call center guy doesn't have a bond to pay or a car to pay, but he's financially literate. He knows where to spend his money, where to invest his money. But where now you're thinking here and not further than your nose. So that's where it becomes a problem.
Ladies, now I want to ask you, what is a broke man to you guys?
A broke man?
Yes. Now I want to know if you were able to articulate what we or what you would regard as broke.
Just someone, I guess, who says they don't have money. Like, I think that's for me broke.
Because
Even for me, it's like if I don't have money, I'm like, I'm broke. So I really understand when someone genuinely says, yo, I'm like, oh, shame. You know, I know what you're going through, you know.
Okay.
So it's just as simple as it is. But when you say, but I can't label a whole group of people, it's like me saying now, men who get 100,000 are broke. How? Have I slept with all of them? Have I been with all these working men to know that they're all classified as broke? You know, you just never know people's pockets. And that's another thing I've learned. You can never.
So are you saying 100,000 rand, if I put 3 men here, 100,000 rand means different things to these 3 men?
Yes.
So I can't say that this one is, I can't say they all have money.
Yeah.
This one can have 100,000 rand and still be broke.
Yes.
And then this one can have 100,000 rand and be rich.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this one can be 100,000 rand and still be
You'd work
able to afford.
in a company where, let's say, all of the people in the floor are earning about, equal amounts. But definitely there'll be that person where everyone will probably be asking themselves, you understand? So yes, it's just the same. They are business people or hustlers. I think that now this girl believes that, career men are hustlers. If you say I'm a hustler,
if you're trying to get 100,000, a guy who earns 100,000 rand a day, he gains a little.
He gains a hustler, that person. So, but you get those ginsas, but we're still like, angnamali. They're really, and you're like, how? But you know people. Like, how?
Or drug dealer. Or a human trafficker.
Exactly.
I mean, choose a career.
Yeah.
Your opinion of a broke man?
It's when you can't. I don't want to say it's when you can't make your money stretch, but maybe when your month is longer than your salary. For me, that's when you are broke. It's not even like I could have literally different priorities in the sense that I could choose not to buy takeout during the month because I want to have it month end because this is where my money takes me and this is how it will take me to treat myself and to treat my girl. But if my money is pela mid-month, that's being broke. Okay. Because one can also say broke, whereas they're saving their money. Be a saver. Half of his salary is being saved. What he cares about is that he's got grocery, electricity, and petrol money. The rest to him means nothing, but because he saves for a holiday at the end of the year, it means that he can live like a pauper the rest of the year. So... Okay. It's kind of a tricky one for me to give.
It is
a straight
kind of a
answer.
tricky one, right? Because if I were to think about it, do I bring it back to me? Okay, whatever. My dad example. If you were to look at my dad, you think my dad is a very broke man, right? I would classify my dad by just looking at him as broke. Dad doesn't buy clothes. Look, I haven't seen him in a new item in a hot minute. In fact, I'm probably the one who'd buy my dad a new item, right? He quite honestly gets by. He's just like, Joe, clothing, that. He does not do that. Buying cars, it's not his shit. My dad has money. Yes, he won't give us the money, sadly.
Exactly.
But he'll give. He's got money.
But he's a saver. Yeah,
He's a saver. So now I'm bringing it also to the mentality element, right? Because you can be broke. I need this to make sense to me. I need to be able to articulate it. No, Lou, thanks for the pressure.
Wow, I didn't just you please say bye. Yay.
I mean, pressure match. Look, would you say broke or rich is a mentality thing, whether or not you have money? You know when someone says you have broke people mentality?
Yeah.
Would you date someone who has a broke person's mentality?
Probably in the beginning I would.
But has Machankura, has Gwala. Look, I mean, even Mark Zuckerberg, they call him...
No, actually, let me give you a straight answer. No, I wouldn't be able to date someone who has a broke or poor man's mentality. What's just it?
Look, I'm just...
Yeah.
At this point,
no. I wouldn't be able to because ndinguye nalamdu namuthanda izinto. So I really don't understand. I wouldn't, I can live with saying we are saving for 3 months for a certain thing, but it can't be like 25-year investment. We're going to live like this because after 25 years, we're going to buy that 4 million rand house we want. For me, it takes away the joy of everyday living now. So what do we get to experience now? What do we do in the now? Because fact is, siyabawel certain things, and I feel like if then we can adjust our finances to us having one or two of the things esizibawelayo, then so be it. But no, I wouldn't be able to date with a poor man's mentality.
Kirsty?
Okay, I could, but then now don't impose the same with my money. You understand? If that's what you want, to keep a standard of, okay, you don't want to spend too much on yourself.
But
and
when you do it with your own money, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like, let's have an arrangement. And also questions, I'll question it. How far are we going? What's this, Like, you get a person, maybe like your dad, for instance. Let's say now, he doesn't spend on himself, but he's willing to maybe spend on another person.
No, he's not.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'd prefer one who's willing to spend on me.
No, he's not.
He's willing to buy bread every day.
No, he's not.
But
I don't know.
I think for me, if now that person I'm with is willing to spend on me, and obviously not now that I'm gonna be highly demanding, but with my own money, they also just kind of give me the go ahead, like do whatever you want, Don't impose the same thing. So maybe you're saving for this 4 million rand house and you're doing very well. Oh, excellent. You do it. I'm spending my money, well, I trust on you.
Ladies, no, I let me say this. I relatively have enough money to get by myself and my dog, okay? Would I call myself rich? No. Would I call myself, what do you guys call girls who just are able to get by with their salaries in their lives?
Independent ladies.
I don't want that. I'm not independent. And let me tell you why I say this. Okay, men have a tendency of taking advantage, whether you have money or not. And that is why my decision, I will always make the decision that I don't want to date a man on mali. Okay, so let me put it this way to you. There's a guy that I was dating a couple of months back. This guy would use my car. This guy would, and when I say use my car, I'm like, oh, cool, we'd be in it. Let's go. Let's. But the type of person I prefer, the type of man that I would prefer, is the one who'd say, oh, we've used your car, petrol. Or he would take my car and go wash my car and put gas in my car. And only because of the type of car that I drive, where I live, and how I look, it's in the assumption that I've got it.
You've got it.
And then you get into relationships and men don't do what I would prefer. I'm not going to say what men should do. What I would prefer a man to do in my relationship, because they think I got it because I drive a Mac, because I live there, because I do that, because I work here. And I don't got it. The money that I have
a question.
Without them was for me.
Yes.
I'm able to get by whether you're here or not. But when you're here, guys, and I don't give a damn what the fuck you say or how the fuck you think about what I'm saying now. But when I am in a relationship and it's not I don't feel entitled. Entitlement for me is a different conversation, because I'm saying I'm not entitled to your money, but I'm saying to you, this is what I want in a relationship. And men also have an entitlement of, that's my pussy. That's my pussy, and my pussy, I should have it whenever, wherever. And I don't want it to sound like it's a transactional thing.
It's not. But
look, maybe relationships are transactional. Maybe life is transactional. But why, when I say, give out 10K for McDonald's, it's a problem. Now I'm being labeled a gold digger. Now I'm being labeled empty. Now I'm being labeled dumb. Now I'm being labeled all these things, because they have all these names for us, for my preference in dating and what I want in a relationship. And if I date a man who cannot provide that, I will move on to the next one. But I move on to the next one and you guys call me a hoe.
Going back to your independence,
which I hate, by the way. If I were to keep it, I'm ready to keep it.
I don't want you to hate on your independence. I don't want you to hate on your independence. It should not take away the hard work that you do, the money that you earn. You should not be ashamed. Exactly. You should not be ashamed or embarrassed to speak loudly and to act loudly about what you are and who you are and what you can do for yourself. That, really, I want you to feel, I want you to own your independence, because you are.
I do.
No, but then bakufika limit when it comes to a man.
When I'm in a relationship, there is that limit. That's why I'm saying to you, look, let me quickly disturb you there. Sorry. I also once dated a guy who has tons and tons of guala. And in the same breath, sure, he'd there and there. Lazy snacks. Like, hey, 2,000. Some pechaga 2,000. Can I learn 2,000? Scampa 500. Can I learn 500? Do you know what I mean? But look, he would do it nonetheless, and I take it sharp because money is money. But I said to him when he left, I said, do you know the only thing you changed in my life is he put an HDMI cable on my TV. And I can't see, so I wouldn't have known that there's no HDMI cable. Also, my TV is like a little 45-inch. I could see. I wouldn't have seen. I don't have my glasses when I'm watching TV. Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to tell you that my independence, regardless, will always be there. And you coming to my house, you being part of my life, you'll understand. Me going to work, I'll go to work every single day because I value my independence, because I value my money. But also, I would love for my money to just be my money. Men do it. Men pay women's bills, Joe.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think you jumped in too quickly before I could finish, because I'm in total agreement with you. All I wanted to say was own your independence, even in your relationship, and then indoda yona izawufika yenze ipati yayo. If he does it, great. If he doesn't, then you can give him the boot, babe. I mean, literally. And then the next point that you made, what was it again? The glibel. Yeah, what after your independence? Yeah, what did she say? She was talking about this gold digging thing, man.
Well, that's what we're chatting about today. If you've just tuned in, hi.
There's a point that you made, and I wanted to interject on it, but
you'll remember it. And so that's, I suppose, the conversation that I wanted to have today. And look, I'm not pro or against women who love dating men who have money, and I'm not against people who love to date for love. It's fabulous.
Right, and say something.
Sure.
Is it that sometimes us as women, we are so confused in what we want? Ne? Okay. So over the years, yes, it used to be men who work and women would basically stay home and just look after kids. And obviously then it was the movement of women also want to work, or whatever reasons. Okay, then it was the equal pay, also let women be recognized, better positions and all of this. So yes, those things have been afforded. Those opportunities are there for women. But then now we get, now we're independent and we're complaining about being independent. Because that's what I'm hearing, like what's the confusion with women? It's like, yes, you're earning, but now you're still on top of that entitled to, are you unsatisfied with using your money? Because we see these memes all the time. It's like a woman who they pay after a woman pays for her own bill, and it's like you're seeing this woman who's literally depressed, crying. What are you working for then?
I have a little
what
mini
is
heart
it
attack.
that we really want? When we want men to give us money, we judge each other for that. Like, oh, you're a gold digger now, as you're saying. When you depend on a man, which used to happen either way.
Our mothers won't work.
Exactly.
They would sit at home.
Exactly. So what is it as women? What is it that we want? Are we just not happy with ourselves? Because we're constantly changing the
narrative.
Yeah, the narrative or the finish line. What is it?
Do you think it's fair to not see the evolution of life and to see the evolution of just things in general? And I say that because, firstly, I remember the point that you had made on the equal pay, etc., etc. That is a different conversation, I feel, especially if I'm in a workplace where I'm doing the exact same thing as someone, trigger me, where I'm doing the same thing as someone and they get paid more than I do because by virtue of being a man. That for me would bother me, but that's not the conversation that we're having.
I'm just saying these are the things we strive for and we get. Let's say now a woman, you are in that position, you're getting paid like at the same amount, but then the issue is I'm spending myself. I don't have a man to take care of me.
So here's my thing also. I also genuinely, look, I can do without a man's money. Look, I'm doing without a man's money. Shit, I've been single for what feels like all my life. However, imnandi mali yabafana, guys.
Then let's say that.
And if I can get,
let's say that.
I can't even see all along.
No, guys, that's why I'm saying how you say certain things, how you say things come across differently. When you can't feel entitled to my money when it's just something that you enjoy, you want it for please.
And except it's different, right? To the girl that I had mentioned who will pop up on the screen again. She is saying, I will not be with a man if it doesn't bring any economic growth in my life. Right? She is, look, I don't know whether you want to use the word entitled. She is saying that, personally, I will not even sleep with the broke man because of these sexual ties. She also goes on and speaks about it in a spiritual element, which, look, I think it kind of suits a narrative.
Yeah.
You will obviously, it definitely suits our narrative. Definitely. But in the same breath, how I felt 5 years ago won't be how I feel this year. Okay? If I felt a different way about my money and dating 5 years ago, and I've evolved and I feel a different way now, why must I be held? Why must it be a thing? Why must it be you don't know what you want or you hate yourself? My dating 2 years ago is not my dating this year. My financial bracket 2 years ago is not my financial bracket now. True. And even of dating, period. Right? Because we experience things, we do things. And you can completely disagree with me on this one. I actually urge you to disagree with me on this one because I love different opinions. But if I feel last year I want to date a guy who earns 12K, example, because these are examples that are thrown around. And this year, I feel like my tax bracket must go up in dating and because my tax bracket generally in my standards and my lifestyle has gone up. And yes, I can maintain my own lifestyle, but if I date someone and if I date someone and I'm dating this man also because he has lots of money.
No, but you see, the difference here is no, there's nothing wrong, but you are speaking because of experience. Ne? Okay. And my problem with this one, my problem with this particular one is, hey, I really don't know how better to say it. She's just putting out a number because it's a nice to have, or she thinks it's a nice to have when your man earns 100K and gives it to you. but akana basis of what
How
she's
maybe
saying.
she's been lied to as well, because obviously some men are only a few people, let's be honest, are out there earning 100K a day. Or, well, I don't know.
I need to see one.
A
Just
day.
show me one.
A day,
Show me one right now.
Like,
If he's not a
because
drug
obviously
addict.
spoke like as if this is easily accessible. Like, you get these. And also part of me thought it was like, this is a trap. What if it's just for everybody to be now thinking, let's just leave our men who are working 9 to 5s, and then they'll be out
you'd
here,
dumb as shit if you did
topa.
that, wouldn't you? I feel like that would be a dumb as shit thing to do.
To leave your man for
But
that.
now here's my question, ne? So we're talking obviously about women who we're saying women who are gold diggers and whatnot. But I wonder if the roles were reversed. If a man says, I can't date you because 7 to 9 to 5, babes, you don't meet my standards.
Ooh. Yes. I like that. Men must have standards too.
No, but then
But women won't accept that.
Let me say this. Now, when a man says, yes, my standards is that I don't want a woman who's working 9 to 5. I want a woman who I'm going to take care of and stay at home. What is the problem? Women complain and say, no, I don't want to be oppressed, funung controller, and therefore no.
But
Let
there's
me
a
have
target
my
market
freedom.
for everyone. I get it. We're talking about those preferences we're talking about. In the very
Yeah.
same way, if a man
But
says,
we bash that. We bash each other as women. It's like one alone against Lutu. She doesn't do nothing.
Wenziwa indoda.
Oh, exactly.
Ungazithembi indoda because izawuvuka kusasa iye kuthephi
Ikushiye.
kungena nix.
Imache
Yes.
saba wailing you, girl.
Indota will cheat on you with a woman who's working.
So let's go to your point, Nolu, of the men and their standards. And I had mentioned there's a target market for everyone. There are women who've got the money, I get it, and who are able to provide for their partners. And they like that. They like giving their husbands or their boyfriends or their sugar boyfriends, which we'd call Ben 10s, money. And that is how they show their love. And that's how, or maybe that's how they assert their power. Because remember also, we mustn't move away from the fact that this money transaction thing at some point, and for most men who've got tons and tons of money, it's a power element. That's why women get shot on the face, and that's why they're told to do things they wouldn't necessarily do if they were dating a regular guy. But there's a power assertion there because this man wants to say, I've got so much money. I take care of a big conglomerate. When I get into the bedroom, I need a different kind of power. Because after you have all this power, what else? Yeah. And now you try to assert yourself in different ways, where it could be in a sexual manner that this person's asserting themselves. And women also have that, where it could be in a sexual or in a financial way, where they want the dominance. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I am fine with men who prefer those kind of men and leave us, I'm a 9-to-5ers.
But kwanina niphinda nibe ne-problem, guys. Yokuthi yindoda etheni engafuni usebenza, yindoda etheni eyondliwa ngumfazi.
Damn, guys, what other people would have to say.
Like, guys, would you want to be a blesser yendoda?
But what I'm trying to say,
I've seen
I'm
in
not the
situations.
target market, that's why.
Yeah, I've seen in situations, because obviously, if 10 years back, I would have said, hell no, that is just so like, but what I've seen is that maybe you'd find that there are women who just really have no interest in being at home. They love being in the office. And you find that the husband is the one who very good at doing homework with the kids. And they have an arrangement saying, you know what, he stays at home, I make the money. And it's a
AKA
relationship
house husband.
that is working, So obviously it's mature, it's just experience, and having seen people, spoken to people who've actually shared their experiences, and now that thing does exist. But if you speak from a place of you just don't know nothing, therefore you're gonna just be judgmental about it and say, indoda ehlalayo, and then umfazi asebenza. Like, the world is bigger than that.
What I think is so common here, what you guys are saying, is not the fact that the people who are in this thing have issues with it. It's the people externally.
Exactly.
And all of this is to make the people externally comfortable. So the reason why we fight and we on Twitter and we have with all these Twitter fingers is because it makes us uncomfortable and not the person who's in the relationship.
If I were to share the dynamics of my relationship, I'm sure I'd be judged. Whereas I'm like, I'm so happy. Like the arrangement I have, and how my man is financially supporting me and what I do with my money and all of these things.
Yeah.
But if I were to just say it and lay it out as it is, oh Lord.
But then why is that a problem? Why are you guys so scared to say to articulate the life it is that you live, and whether somebody else judges you, whether a 2-minute clip of whatever gets taken out of context and put on Instagram or on Twitter, it's your life. It's what you want to live. It's how you prefer to live. And that's fine.
No, for me, it's not a matter of being scared of saying how my home life is, but it's just nobody speaks about those things. You don't talk about who pays for electricity, who doesn't in the house. It's not a conversation that you would have publicly. Into yasendlini yam, ayimfuni omnye umuntu basically.
Well, look, at some point we thought porn wouldn't make it outside of the bedroom, but we're seeing it on the timeline.
And until that day comes,
there's nothing I feel that is private anymore. There's nothing that you could say, ooh, maybe you shouldn't have said that. We say that, and I'm also guilty. We say, ooh, maybe we shouldn't have said that because it made me feel uncomfortable.
No, granted.
Because I couldn't register it in my head properly enough to accept that it's Ghosty's life. But the fact that Ghosty's saying it, I'm saying, maybe you shouldn't have said that.
It's not even about not registering it. No, it's not even about not registering, Tebi, but I think we also need to acknowledge ukuthi singabantu, we are different in our makeup, in our character, and in our preferences. So the first step is when we respect each other's preferences and how people like to do things, I think that will take us far. Because what you would say, like the many facts that you mentioned here in the show, I would never mention that.
Oh, fuck.
Because you know what I mean.
Why?
Because it's not me.
It's not you. Okay.
Church girl. Hello.
No, but besides that, that's just not how I talk.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And I'd be like, at first, I was like, okay, but okay. It's who she is.
Fuck,
it takes nothing away. See, now I'm not moved. Now I'm not moved. You see, I'm not moved, but I respect that this is who you are and this is how you articulate yourself. And the minute then you start imposing your ideas on how I should articulate myself, but Nolu, you are angry. Why aren't you saying fuck? That's not how. Yes. That's not how I get angry. That's not how I articulate myself. So when we start respecting each other and what we deem as private and not private really is up to the individual and nobody else. Same applies for the who pays the bills in the house, who doesn't, be it the man or the woman. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. I preference is just that. But don't enforce don't enforce what you want on somebody else when you can't even give it to yourself. I think that's what I want to say.
Or even if you give it to yourself, it's good for you.
Yeah, it's what you do. I mean, if you pour your own petrol, pour it. If Paul comes and says, I'm going to pour your full tank, then it's like, wow, thank you, Paul, pour it. Not because you can't pour it for yourself. Mm-hmm. I think that's when you also learn to appreciate what somebody else does for you without taking it for granted. Because the minute you take it for granted, it loses its essence. And in fact, your entire relationship loses its essence because you must know, Paul pouring your petrol for you is not a must, but it's a gift to you. It's a gift for him as well. And it does something to your relationship, knowing that tomorrow he might not have the money to pour petrol in your car, but you would be okay with it. And
also, maybe also Paul has needs too that you can fulfill. What if Paul... Whatever.
Why are y'all pointing Paul to me?
No, I'm just...
Or Paul's situation to me. I am taking it personal. Last take on this one, ladies. I ain't helping Paul with the dam.
The last take for me is, guys, truth is, there are gold diggers. That's just me.
What is a gold digger to you? I know that I said this is late, the last words, but
Gold digging for me, ilantomazane, ithetha kula TikTok. No, but there are gold diggers. It's people who are lazy, who want things done for themselves, who won't do it for themselves. You see, there's a difference when you don't have the opportunity or the space to do, and so that you can earn for yourself. And then there are those who just don't want to do it, want somebody else to do it for them.
I see.
So for me, that is a gold digger.
I see.
And
Ghosty,
I want
do
a
you
man.
have a definition? Sorry to interrupt you. Do you have a definition of what you feel a gold digger is?
Well, if they label themselves as gold diggers, you see how you refer to the girl, like you were checking out her Insta or her TikTok, and they classified herself as a gold digger. So if that's what you label yourself as, that's what you are then, So, but yeah, I hate putting labels and you are this or that and that. That it just depends on if that's what the word you wanna take and say, this is how I move, this is how I get into relationships because I demand money out of you. Okay. And you fit that. That's
If it
who
quacks
you are.
like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it's a duck.
Quack.
I interrupted your last words.
You
forgot.
Interrupt her. No, I think what I wanted to say is, if women can be gold diggers, men too can be gold diggers. If women want to have preferences, men too will have preferences. Let's not judge men for also wanting a certain type of woman who earns a certain amount of money, or a man who doesn't want to do anything and wants to be provided for by his woman, because you also as a woman want a man. Often mom, often dad. So it works vice versa. Let's not be hard on guys, because there are genuine men who work very hard and who are willing to provide for you, because they love you so much. But then when you go and just shit on them, and then it takes away the whole thing.
Ghosty, you lost?
Okay. Knowing, and obviously sometimes as women we speak from a space of the hurt. You understand? Because of the fights we've had and, we've been played by men. And therefore, sometimes we think that just as a payback, because it's sometimes a payback attitude of, you know what, I'm just going to use you, or let me just get what I can get from this relationship because I don't trust you as a man, like in general. So sometimes I think we need to work on ourselves and just heal ourselves before we even get into these relationships, and be able to get into a space of maturity, speaking what you want from the beginning with the person. Sometimes we go out and have these conversations in public or social media for no reason, and the people that we should be conversating with, it's actually the person that you're getting into a relationship with. So it's a person that you're getting into the relationship. We can debate about these things every day on social media and have conversations, podcasts about this. Oksalayo. It's your maturity and it's your life, and you have to communicate with the people that are closest to you.
I like what you just said. So can I just say something? I like what you just said, because so many times when we have these conversations with our partners, it's not really you that's speaking. It's Tsepi speaking.
Social media.
It's social media speaking. It's not what Unolo wants. Like, for example, I know I'm not the Red Roses, what is this fine dining thing that you would do, with your partners. That's not me.
But now you're mad at him for not doing it. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. He's also not that. Find who you are in your relationship, and that you can only do that when you are being honest
and
and having
that girl,
the conversation.
Or even that girl, probably who's willing 100,000. Now she's here saying,
it's not probably.
So that's why now she can say like, because maybe if you're to sit down with her, it's so like sad. This is information that you got maybe by you're just sitting with a group of guys who are even lying to you, and just trying to flex, and now you're thinking
the social media standards that we spoke of before.
You know. So it's
that really do portray a very false narrative.
Thank you.
And this is of money, of beauty, of anything. It's just unattainable.
Ooh.
All right.
That girl was very sad, by the way. But also there's something that the guys on the Monday show spoke about. The puppy story that's trending. In fact, you read the article.
Oh, yeah.
And where MacG was saying, I mean, if your marriage didn't work out, shiyumfazi with the kids at home and you go and live your life. But at the same time, the guy is entitled to 50%.
Because that's what I'm saying. I completely disagree with that. Yes, let me say completely disagree with that, because women ask for spousal support. Why, when a man does that? Because you earn more. So according to the law, and you go to court and you're earning more than your partner, you are the one who owes this person, or you are the one who should be paying this person spousal support, be it for 6 months, a year, or whatever. Right? Because also spousal support shouldn't be forever. It's not forever. It's for until you're able to get your feet. So if he feels like 8,000 is the luxury that he feels he deserves in cash, and everything else should be split in half, it is what it is. This was the marriage. This is how marriage works. This is how, when we're divorcing and we're dissolving our assets, this is how it works. Not because I'm a woman, I now must leave and I must take anything. It's noble of you if you leave everything. Fantastic. But legally, and if we're being honest, marriage, unfortunately, you've signed contractually. It's now legally binding for you to understand that there's all these T's and C's that you don't read when you enter into relationships that also have to do with finances. And when now the finances has to come and benefit the man, now it's a different conversation. But I suppose it's in the same way with Mbali and Black Coffee. When that happened, you guys were saying she's asking for too much. But meanwhile, that was the life that she was living. Did she ask for 60,000? 65,000 a month is what she felt, was what she got every time.
She could get by.
Or equated her lifestyle to when she was still with him. But that's a different conversation when we come to marriage. Thank you so much. It's been a really awesome conversation, ladies. It will definitely upset a few men. It will probably upset a woman.
Do you
in the comment section? But we love to see it. Please leave your comments in the comment section and share your experiences or even your opinion on what we're saying. If you feel that we're talking complete hogwash, you're more than welcome to come through and leave your comment and just conversate with that. It's been really amazing. My name is Tepi,
Church Girl,
and Ghosty.
Thank you so much, Red Cherry. It's been amazing. We love you. We'll be back in your studios just like that. We out.
Bye.